Welcome to the Chaos Plan, where the odds may not always be in your favor. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Chaos Plan. We would like to remind everybody who's listening that if you would like to take part in the game and the show, all you have to do is to join our Patreon account for $1 and you can get into this Chaos Plan game.
Thank you once again for joining us for another episode of the Chaos Plan, where the odds may not always be in your favor. We have Keith joining us here, and I will let him introduce his wonderful, crazy, tech-centric character.
Thank you very much, Bob. And as he had mentioned, I am Keith, and I will be playing a half-elf known as Freaud Gearlock. Freaud Gearlock is an artificer following a homebrew module, and he is more specifically known as a goldsmith. Freud is from a family of nobility, but tends to lean more towards being associated with his guild, and will tend to try to shy away from the fact he knows anything about his parents and the line of royalty he has to follow. He was born in the month of harvest under the rock gnome Tinker to his parents, Lord Miriam Gearlock and Lady Aaliyah Hornstone. And he has right now 6 siblings and counting, one of them being on the way. And all of them, the family is very much known for promoting the Artisans Guild, promoting the artificers and building and doing what they are aspiring to do, whether it be being a wandsmith, a swordsmith, or even those that are producing thunder cannons or guns. After a while, though, in the guild, Freud grew tired of just building gadgets and small things, and he wanted to actually build himself a friend. A really big friend. So he and a few of his buddies from university, when he went to study some magic, decided to go and steal a reinforced wagon axle that was valued at about 300 gold pieces. Freud had toiled for about 2 weeks building this golem, which was kind of a mix of chipwood and metal plates, and after that time he built an 8-foot-tall humanoid golem. And he named him after the most valuable thing in that body, Axel. And he was recognized in the Tinker's Guild for his hard work, as building a golem close to a humanoid shape was not a very common thing to be done. But he was tired of Axel just following him around and decided he was going to aspire to do something for him. And that's where we leave off, with him packing his things in Fey Port, going off to learn how to do the unthinkable, giving Axel sentience. Thank you, and I'm glad to join the adventure.
All right, so you are in Fey Port, which is a very magical place. It is very much along the lines of the Fey, of nature. Druids are probably the biggest non-elf race or group that isn't primarily elves in this area. Other than the elves and the sentient plants and the Fey-related creatures, there just aren't a whole lot out there that don't have something to do with magic. So you would not have necessarily been shunned in Fey Port, but you definitely would have been an oddity there. While there is a couple of genius inventors and tinkers there in Fey Port, they are few and far between. So you wouldn't know a whole lot about the outside world of tinkering, but you would have just the stories that you would have been told by several different inventors and whatnot that have passed through. A mentor of yours probably would have been a rock gnome by the name of Fizzwhip. And Fizzwhip is a very short gnome. For even by norm standards, he's on the shorter and skinnier side. His hair sticks up in every which direction, and he's always scrawling things down in this very mysterious diagram book. But he would send you out on a gathering expedition like normal, and telling you to pick up scrap and whatnot that the sailors wouldn't be necessarily tied to on one of the massive ships coming through Fey Port. This would, of course, be optional for you, and you can spend your time, over the course of several days or whatever you need to before returning there. So we'll go ahead and pick up. What all would you like to do here in Fey Port? You're currently, as I said, been given the assignment by FizzWhip to return with any scrap that you may find while out and about.
Alright, so with me having built Axel is Axel with me currently, or is that still...
Yeah, no, you can have Axel there.
Alright.
Not a problem.
So, with that in mind, I'm probably going to put down to try where a lot of like leftover supplies usually will. Is there like just kind of a scrapyard, or just where like a lot of stuff that's been washed up just kind of stays?
Yeah, you make your way towards the docks area, and there is an area there where there are quite a few. I don't want to say like a scrapyard necessarily, but where, the unwanted ore and metals is kind of dumped. It would be where broken weapons are thrown. It would be where broken armor is discarded. Different scrap pieces of metal from ships and whatnot, bolts and rivets that have fallen off. There would be a spot where there would be a merchant, a junk merchant, basically, would have a large number of these kind of things.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and see what the merchants would be able to, like, how many pounds of scrap would I be able to buy off these merchants with the, 15 gold pieces I have.
Yeah, piles of scrap would be very cheap because it's not even material for crafting yet. It has to be refined before it can even be material. So you go down there and go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
That'll be a 24.
That is fantastic. Okay, so you are sorting through this scrap. The junk merchant just says let's go ahead, roll me a D20 for me. Actually, roll me 2D20 minus 1.
So the total of the 2D20s minus 1?
Correct, yeah. I've got more than 20 races here to choose from.
It'll be 20.
20. Okay. You see this Githyanki merchant he's kind of sitting there. He's very dour. You don't normally see this race settle down anywhere permanent, but you're pretty sure he was cast off from the rest of his crew or group or whatever. You would see that you would know that he was probably cast away. He wouldn't be a upstanding member, probably a criminal of something. But he's just kind of sitting there looking at you, pretty down on his luck, and just says to you, "I don't know exactly what you're looking for, but I don't have time to sort through all of these piles. Go ahead and look. What you pick, I will tell you the price when you find it." And with your investigation check, you are able to find a fairly decent amount of quality metals. Most of the metals here would be random ores or low-quality iron that broke in battle or something along those lines. But you do find some quality pieces of steel hidden amongst the pile that you're kind of able to bury a little bit so he doesn't know that it's good quality. And go ahead and roll me a D6, because since you are over 20, you do find a special item within this pile of scrap.
1.
A 1. You see that there is this very odd-looking chunk of scrap. It appears to be some sort of composite metal, maybe, or some sort of strange magical item almost. It appears to be a green, smooth board almost, and there's some weird copper-colored lines running through it, and other weird bulbous type things on it is all you can really describe it as. But a very interesting looking chunk of material that you are able to take with you. And as you kind of look at it, there's a switch on it. You flick the switch and say, oh, it mustn't do anything. And all of a sudden your voice repeats back to you. Oh, it mustn't do anything.
So I'm going to turn it back off.
Okay, yeah, you flick the switch
And I'm
back
going to go over to Axel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up one of his chest plates and put it inside of him.
Okay, you're going to try and integrate it with his current system?
Not yet. I'm just going to smuggle it out of there, but I'm going to keep it out of the pile so that way it's in Axel and not amongst the stuff I'm buying.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a deception check.
Deception or sleight of... okay. See, deception. That'll be an 18.
At 18, all right. We'll keep that passive 18 for your... Or that 18 as you go to check out. So then, after finding that, would you immediately head out with that small pile of quality metal that you found?
I'd look back at the list and see if there's anything else in particular that Fizzlewood needs before I get out of there.
You wouldn't find anything super major that he needs. I mean, he's got a massive wish list of, platinum ore, of adamantine, but, you're not going to find that here. You've got about as much as you think.
All right, so Axel and I are going to take whatever we have, put it up into our wagon, and I'm going to just let the merchant take, just a look, just to see how much I have to pay him.
All right, I'll go ahead and roll his investigation check versus your deception check. Okay, and he only rolled a 12 plus modifiers. So you are able to very easily, nonchalantly, you pull out the newspaper, hold it in front of your face, start whistling on a park bench. He doesn't even notice that you're hiding anything. And he looks over the whole lot of this metal that you've got. He's like, I'm thinking this is probably going to be worth, let's go with 5 silver pieces. And I'm being generous with you this
5
time.
silver pieces? But I couldn't find any decent ore in there for the matter, so I'd say let's go 3.
You drive a hard bargain. Let's go 4.
3.
3 and 5 copper. That's the lowest I'll
3,
go.
or you can talk to my friend Axel.
He looks up at Axel and he looks at you. Go ahead and roll an intimidation check. And since you mentioned Axel in it, go ahead and add +2 to that roll.
It's going to be a 15.
A 15. That's higher than his 14. So you are able to intimidate him, but barely. So he's like, I don't want to tangle with you today, but you keep shortchanging me here, and that'll change. Get out of here. And you exchange the 3 silver pieces, and you are free and clear.
Good day to you too, sir.
All right. So, you have gotten the metal and that strange magical something or other board out of there. So what would you do from here?
I'm going to see if what do people put, are these people civilized enough to put out their trash at a certain day of the week or anything?
Most of the trash would actually be incinerated by mages and whatnot, and since this is Fey Port and they're very elven and sustainable and everything else, the trash that you would find would be minimal anyway.
Okay, so I'll take the haul that I have, and I'm going to see if my mentor can figure out what this thing is, because I don't think what I have right now I can integrate into Axel, because it just repeats what I say.
Okay. Go ahead then. You make your way across town and you head to Fizzwhip's shop. Fizzwhip, you enter into his shop and he greets you warmly because you're a regular here and everything else. And you show him the board. Do you give him any kind of explanation or description of what happened, or do you want him to figure it out?
Well, I explained to him that when I flip the switch, it would repeat what I say. It's beyond my knowledge, and it's just not my field of expertise.
Okay, he looks at it very closely, and he says, well, let me take a very quick look at this. I think I might know something about it. And he's going to go ahead and roll an intelligence check. Okay. Fizzwhip says, oh yes, this appears to be some sort of voice modulator. So when you talk into it, it will take your voice and it will change it slightly. I'm not exactly sure how without trying it, but it does in fact change your voice. So what are you trying to do with this?
So you're saying this thing can change my voice? I'm just sorry, I thought I heard a knock at the door. But anyway, with the change of my voice, it creates a very monotonous sound. I'm just wondering, is there a way to put it inside Axel so I could, leave a message inside him in case, something bad happens to me, or maybe just get people to buzz off from him every once in a while?
That's actually a very good question. Well, that is definitely something that I would like to figure out too. It could have great implications for the future of artificial life and of Warforged and everything, but they do it with Warforged, so I'm sure there's a way. I tell you what, I don't necessarily know how to do it here, but I know that there are Tinkers in Port City at the main Tinkers Guild there that would be more than able to figure out how to do this.
So, how long of a trip do you think it would take for me to get Axel out there?
Well, I don't exactly know how long it would take you to get up to Port City. It really depends on the kind of travel you take. Fey Port has tons of ships, as I know you're very familiar with, but you could possibly find a portal out in the wilderness that could transport you there, or ask a favor of the Fey if you go through the wrong portal. There's also airships that leave on occasion, but not very often, and you'd probably have to make a trade to get onto one of those. They're pretty expensive.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I could go see the folks about maybe possibly getting me onto one of those, but again, they don't like me going out on these wild adventures, and they still aren't very approving of having Axel in the house. So I'm just wondering, would you recommend that one portal that's like out to that, like there's one that's out along the coast, isn't there?
Oh yeah, you could probably find plenty of portals if you looked hard enough. They open up at random. There's only a few that actually stick around.
Okay, well, alright. By the way, your wagon's out back with all the metal in there. I was able to get all of it for 3 silver pieces. Don't talk to the merchant. He's a little rude.
Yes, he is. I know. That's why I send you to deal with him. I'm tired of dealing with him, and if he keeps bugging, or if he keeps trying to rob me of all of my gold, one of these days he's just going to turn into a bunch of feathers.
Oh,
don't
my.
ask.
Oh, do you have a potion that does that?
I've got something better.
I don't know if I should ask questions to answers I don't want.
You won't get it answered. You'll learn it eventually. Well, maybe. We'll see.
All right. Well, I think I will make my leave then. Is there any way that I can keep in contact with you once I get out to Port City?
He kind of looks around a little bit shiftily, and he starts rummaging through a bunch of different drawers. And he eventually finds in a cabinet that is about twice his height that he had to jump onto about 4 different cabinets and a chair in order to get to. He pulls out 2 identical gems, and he hands one to you, and he says, "This is linked directly to me, so all you have to do is just channel a little bit of your energy into it, and it'll start to glow. I'll get your message as soon as I'm able to, but it may not be right away."
Oh, no, that's absolutely okay. It's just in case, I get out to the Tinkers Guild and people that I should talk to.
Oh, yes, not a problem. All you have to do is say Fizzwhip sent you, and you want to talk to Fizzle Tixwell. He's the guild leader. We go way back. I remember teaching him when he was but a boy. So just remember, tell him that Fizzwhip sent you, and that'll be more than enough of an introduction.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Fizzwhip. With that, if I do find other things on that list, I'll send it out on a ship. So.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
So, okay, with that, I guess Axel and I will take our leave. We'll get out of here. Hopefully I get Axel back out the door the way he came in. So, gonna find a way to make him a little more autonomous.
Yeah, not a problem. So then, would you be trying to go through a portal to an unknown location, an airship, where you trade your services or something else in order to make your way across, or to a boat? You're pretty sure that a regular sailing type ship would trade Axel's labor because he's, Warforged type non-sentient creature, for lack of a better term, he'd be able to load or whatever boxes without a problem. So you'd be able to easily trade that straight across, but the airship would be a little bit more expensive. So how do you think you would try to find your way to Port City?
I look up at Axel just because I talk to Axel as if I'm talking to myself. You know, buddy, I think I'm up for an adventure. We're going to go find a portal.
Okay, so you would have common knowledge of a few portals that are always there. Two of them go to the FeyWilde, and there's rumored to be a third one you're not sure of, and two of them go to the Shadowfell. But there could be more as well. You know where exactly? Yes, you know that wherever an oak and an ash tree grow, and then vines intertwine between the branches, that is a portal to the FeyWilde. You also know that wherever two or more trees, their dead branches intertangle, is a portal to the Shadowfell. And you've also heard rumors that there are strange glyphs and sigils and whatnot in the temple runes, and people have disappeared while investigating those. They appear to be portals to somewhere other than the FeyWilde or the Shadowfell. Which of those would you investigate?
Well, the Shadowfell's a hard no. That's a hard no for me.
No holy avenger.
Sorry for breaking out the meta knowledge there, but no. I've had a couple good runs in FeyWilde. Do I want to run ending up somewhere out in the Astral Plain? I don't know, Axel. What are you thinking? I'm gonna pull out a coin. We're gonna go to the FeyWilde.
All right. You would know that the eastmost portal leads to the Summer Court. The westmost portal leads to the Summer Court. The eastmost portal leads to the Winter Court. And there's rumored to be a third one out in the wilderness that leads to the Wild Court. The Unaligned Court, for lack of a better term.
I'm gonna go to the Summer Court.
All right. You know that it's not the best to traverse the forest in nighttime once the sun goes down, and it's about noon to 2 o'clock now. So setting out now, you would be cutting it really close. If you had no delays, you would be able to get to the portal without a problem. But you might end up getting caught in the forest at night. Would you like to wait until morning, or are you that way you have ample time to prepare, or do you want to rush out the door now?
Oh, Axel, what do you think? I think I'm going to go home for a moment. I don't go there often. I'm going to go home.
Okay.
I'm usually over at the guild hall. But...
Yeah, you would very easily be able to find your way home. Fizz, would you tell Fizzwhip of your plans before you...
I do let him know that I'm taking a portal, but I don't know if I'm going to tell him I'm going to go through a FeyWilde portal. That's all I'm going to tell him.
Okay. Let me go ahead and pull up this document real quick, and then I will have you roll, because he will give you a gift when he wishes you goodbye. So let me find the damn pamphlet here. Okay, first roll me a percentile die.
99.
Oh, wow. Okay. Go ahead, I kid you not. I'm using the traders and merchants inventories, the big PDF, and 97 to 100 gets you a legendary merchant. Go ahead and roll me a d20 to see what legendary merchant you get.
18.
All right. Then go ahead and roll me an additional d20 to see which list I'm going to choose.
1.
A 1. Okay. Let's see.
First one of the night, folks.
He pulls out of his pouch, he pulls out of one of his numerous bags a small pouch, and he says, "My dear boy, while you are out there in the wilderness, the last thing we want to do is have old Axel here rust and become unusable. So in this pouch," roll me a d6.
5.
In this pouch are 9 pinches of dust of dryness. See, if you pinch a little bit of this over water, you can completely get rid of all of the water there, and it'll coagulate this dust into about a marble-sized pellet, and you can then use that pellet as however you want. But it'll also protect you from water elementals. So hopefully this will be able to help you out to keep Axel from rusting or to get you out of a pinch with a water elemental.
Once the water starts talking to me, throw dust at it. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that into the Discord so you can have that info here. All right, there we go. I copied and pasted it. So that is what he gives you as a parting gift. He says, "Good luck, my boy. Let Fizzle know that I sent you. Don't forget that part. That's the important bit." All right, and you then head back to your home. What all kind of prep would you like to do before you head out? You would know that it would take about, we'll call it 3 or 4 hours to reach the portal if you aren't inhibited. So you would have time to grab whatever you needed from home, or hit up whatever shops you needed to while you're in town, resupply, grab whatever you need, so on and so forth.
So I am going to pay a visit to my siblings who are part of the larger guild hall, because I do need to pick up a few items from them in the process. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to basically stock up on, how much do you think how much are like health potions?
Health potions are 50 gold
apiece. Ooh, okay. I have them. Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive.
I probably wouldn't be able to haggle with my siblings over that. But what I am going to do is just leave a note for the guild hall saying I'm going to be gone for a few weeks. If you need anything, go see Fizzlewhip. And then I'm going to... Is there any place I'd be able to get any books on the FeyWilde?
Oh, yeah. There would be a ton of locations here. So, let's see here. So, you are able to very easily find your way over to a bookstore slash map shop. Books and Maps Merchants is what it is. And the individual that runs this map kind of scratches his chin and he says, "Well, you know, I'm not exactly sure if I should be handing this to you. You are entirely too young to be heading into the FeyWilde on your own, but I have known you for as long as you have been around, and I don't want you to end up getting hurt. So I will sell you this map for the cost that it cost me." And go ahead and roll me a d10. 1. That is very favorable for you, because I was going to go, it was 1d10 gold plus 1. So I will sell this map of the FeyWilde to you for 2 gold pieces. It is not a complete map, mind you, but it should be able to give you a general idea of where the main entrances and exits within the elemental islands are.
Okay, all right. Also, would you happen to know if anybody has like any? Would you happen to know anybody who's adventured through the FeyWilde by chance?
Oh yes, if you head up to the Mages Guild, there are a very large number of individuals who have closed portals and ventured through them. I believe there is actually a Uke named Hainier still within the Mages Guild that recently helped close a portal that led to somewhere very unpleasant not too long ago.
Oh, what? In a fire?
No. There seemed to be these very strange creatures that were kind of insectoid in nature, but about as large as a large dog or a small pony, that were covered in very thick carapace, and some of them even shoot very large barbs at this scout that was helping him. You may have met her before. Her name was Fendir, a very lovely elven lady. So Yeah, Haynir would have described to the rest of the Mages Guild this very odd-looking insectoid creature with thick carapace that shot barbs and with the aid of Fimdir, a scout who was not only extremely stealthy but able to shoot the eye from 1,000 yards. I mean, crazy stories, but Haynir would be the one to talk to.
Okay, well, thank you for letting me know. I will, I'll fill out this map, and whenever I come back, I'll return it to you.
Oh, well, yes, then I would be more than happy to refund your 2 gold as soon as you return.
I was just wondering if I could have a copy of this made when I got back.
Oh, yes, then that is more than fine.
Alright, so I guess I will go find Mr. Haynir before, he goes to his quarters. So, alright, I'm going to take off from the Mages Guild then, because I know it's starting to get a little late in the night.
Okay, yeah, you hurry on to the Mages Guild, and you are able to very easily find Haynir with some direction from the receptionist or whoever is at the front counter. They give you directions to one of the meditation type rooms, spell type chambers, and you enter in and you see a very large individual, and by large I mean tall. An extremely tall, thin individual is sitting cross-legged and is floating just a foot or so off the ground, glowing with arcane energy that is very foreign to you. You're not exactly sure what channeling, but it is something major.
A lot more than all the arcane magic in my body. I'm just gonna sit there. I'm just going to wait for Haynir, because I feel like interrupting would be a terrible thing to do.
Okay, you sit there and you wait until he kind of settles back to the ground, and he says, "Oh, right. How could I help you?"
Are you Mr. Haynir?
Yes, I am Mr. Haynir. Do you seek my knowledge? How can I assist you?
So, I'm trying to get out to Port City, and my plan was to use a portal through the FeyWilde. Is there things that I should be precautioned about going into the FeyWilde? Because I understand I'm not quite the entire Fey, and things might be a little weird than what I normally see here in Fey Port.
Yes, I guarantee they'll be very different. Which court are you looking to traverse?
The Summer Court. Summer Court.
Right. That could be a good option. I do warn you, though, it could get a little warm there, depending on who you end up talking to and what their disposition is at the time. But I almost guarantee if you take an offering, something nice like honey or fresh-baked bread, they would most likely be open to receiving.
So they like food as gifts.
Yes, they very much appreciate good food, especially things they can't get over there. Believe it or not, the FeyWilde doesn't have bees, so honey is a delicacy to them. Bring a jar of honey or something with you. Offer it to whichever Fey there, and watch your words. Even though they don't lie, or even though they are incapable of lying, they still manage to deceive most individuals that
deceive. How?
It's pretty simple to talk your way around a question. You may ask them, "How do I get out of here?" And they could send you to any number of very unpleasant exits. As a matter of fact, death could be interpreted as one way to exit the FeyWilde. So just be very cautious with how you speak to them.
Okay, thanks for letting me know about that part. Yeah. Also, I'm taking my, he can't fit through the door, but my big mechanical friend here with me through the FeyWilde. How do I handle that situation? Because I don't know how kindly they would take to mechanical beings.
Oh goodness, I can see the iron on him from here. They will likely view it as an attack. I would suggest getting in and out as quickly as possible. Any large amounts of iron disrupt their magics. So it will offer you a measure of protection against them, but also it could be terribly dangerous to you should the wrong person find that you have brought that much iron into the field.
So would it be recommended that, do you know of any spells that would be able to help, change his appearance?
They will be able to see through any glamour or illusion. The Fey are very capable of seeing through those. Your best bet is to bring a very nice offering and hurry your way through as quickly as possible.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and I wish you
All right,
well.
Do you need anything when I return back in payment?
Oh, no. Information is freely given. I am a plane shifter. As such, it is my duty to inform those around me of the nature of the portals themselves. And you can see he gives you a quick inspection while you're talking, and there's this very strange blue glow from behind his mask as he talks to you, and he feels very prying, but you're not exactly sure on how to identify what he is doing.
Is everything okay, sir?
Oh, yes, just making sure you are native to this area. Can't be too careful anymore.
Well, I don't like sharing it much, but I am Lord Miriam's fourth kid. All right, well, thank you so much. Other than that, I will get out of your hair now.
It was wonderful to meet you, and good luck on your journey.
All right, so I just kind of worked my way down the stairs and out the building. Axel, that kind of gave you the creeps.
Yes, the Ukes would be fairly rare as far as your normal interactions with them. Ukes would be a fairly rare occurrence, being very much dependent upon strong magical flows. They would only appear in areas that have major ley lines or other large sources of magic. So, would you go ahead then, and would you hit anything else up before you ran to one of the portals, or would you head out from there?
Would there be anyone that sells, preserves and honey and stuff of that nature?
Oh yeah, this is the FeyWilde, this is Fey Port, so there would be all sorts of stalls. I mean, every third or fourth one would have... Yeah. This would be, the Tangle is the most nature-oriented of the islands, so honey and fruits and fresh baked breads and all of that kind of stuff would be exceptionally common. You could go to about any vendor of food on the streets and pick some.
All right, so first things first is I kind of go ahead, I'm going to go down to the farmer's market and see what I could possibly find for honey, fruit preserves of different types, fresh fruit, and at least 3 loaves of baked bread.
Oh yeah, you're very easily able to find all of those. The baked bread would be a copper piece each, the fruit would be 2 copper pieces, let's say, for a bundle, and the honey would be a silver piece each. So they'll wrap it up. If you go to a single stall, they'll wrap it up all very nicely for you for 3 silver pieces.
So, if I just give them a gold piece, it would cover everything.
Oh, goodness, yes. A gold piece would be enough to let most families live for a week or 2.
I just want to look and just want to know if any of my siblings come that just use this to cover their tab also.
Okay, they are very grateful for your generosity with this, and not only do they wrap it up, but they throw in an extra jar of honey just for the road and for yourself, because they know that you're offering it to the Fae. That would be 2 total jars of honey, 3 loaves of bread, and a bundle of fruit.
All right. Do they happen to have preserves? Because I'll probably have a few of those just for my own.
Oh, yeah, they would include that as well. That would be the entire bundle for like 3 silver pieces. So that gold piece would get you everything you need.
Well, thank you very much. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going back to back to my home, back to the shed where I keep Axel, and I'm going to give Axel green accents and kind of natural coloring to him, just to kind of blend him in a little bit. It's going to be iron, but give a little bit reference to the nature. See if that might.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me roll me a crafting check. So it would be proficiency plus intelligence on top of your roll.
That'll be a 16.
All right. With a 16, I will go ahead and, let's see, 16 modifier is +3. So I will go ahead and allow you to add a +3 to any of your stealth checks that you make with Axel.
Yeah, he's going to need that because he has negatives to his dex.
Yeah,
he's only got a +1 to his dex. So.
Yeah, that'll definitely help then.
All right.
So, do you set out then first thing in the morning?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed.
All right. You wake up then the next morning, grab a quick breakfast on your way out of town, and you head towards the Fey portal. Go ahead and roll me a survival check as you are navigating your way.
I'll be at 19.
A 19. Okay, the DC on this was a 12. So you are very easily able to navigate your way to that portal without any kind of difficulty. Not only was it mapped out, but, you may have walked this way a couple of times, just to get away from the noise of the city, search for anything that it may have been dropped along the way. So you very easily find that portal. It stands before you now, the two trees with the vines intertangling them. What would you do? Would you just step through nonchalantly? Would you have your offering ready? What would you do?
So I'm going to reach into Axel and pull out a long loaf of bread, and I'm going to pull out a few of the fresh fruits. Is there any druid folk, rangers, any other wild folk out here?
Not anywhere close. You would know that most of the people that have to do with the FeyWilde and whatnot wouldn't be near the portals themselves unless absolutely necessary.
So there wouldn't be any guardians?
So the Fey don't take kindly to being
Okay,
yeah, no guardians.
Try to peek through?
Yeah. Would you step through the portal and peek through?
Yeah, I'm just going to take a few steps into the portal, into the FeyWilde.
All right, you take a couple of steps in, and it is seamless. As you step through with one step, all of a sudden the entire feel of the area changes. While Fey Port is a very humid place, being so close to the ocean, very warm place, you step in through the summer portal, and the heat immediately increases, but the air is much drier, so it isn't as uncomfortable as what you would expect. It's as if you are on a hill, just with the sun gently beating down upon you. You're very warm but comforted in this feeling. You overlook a very large hill, or you are on the top of the hill overlooking a very large kind of short brush type area for the scenery. There are bushes and berries and flowers and all sorts of very aesthetically pleasing looking plants around the area, but nothing too major. It appears to be almost a rolling hills type.
Alright, so I'm going to open up my map and see where the actual court is, where the Greater Fey may be.
All right, go ahead and roll me a D4 to see which direction it is. North would be 1, and then we'll go around the compass. 3. So then the Fey Court would be to the south of you. And go ahead and roll me a D4 again to see which direction the portal would be.
1.
1. The portal would be to the north of you that you are looking to go to. Roll me a D6 to see how many hours it will take you to get there.
3.
3. It'll take a 3-hour journey to get to the portal that you need to. So while you walk to this portal to the north, go ahead and how would you be traveling? Stealthily, or would you just kind of be walking, or would you be rushing to get there as quickly as you can?
I understand that I need to have a sense of urgency, but I'm still going to walk with a little bit of caution.
All right, so walking normally, a brisk pace, but keeping your eyes about you, or keeping your senses about you.
Not stopping to smell the flowers and pick the berries, because I got a feeling touching something might alert something.
All right, go ahead and roll me 3d20. One at a time. Yeah, if it's more than a 15 on each roll, then there will be some sort of encounter.
We got a 14.
Okay, nothing happens. The first part of the trek is just rolling hills, very scenic.
A 10.
Nothing on the second hour of the journey. You see a very large lake that you kind of have to walk your way around in order to get to where you're going.
I'm actually going to dip my water skin in there and also put a little bit of water into Axel just to kind of help keep the engines a little cool in there.
You would actually have previous knowledge that if you ingest anything of the FeyWilde while you are here, you are unable to leave.
Oh, really?
That would be
okay.
a lesson, yes. That would be a lesson ingrained upon you from your birth.
Okay, alright. Scratch that. Sorry, I put... Alright.
Yep,
I forgot that rule about the FeyWilde. So... Alright. Oh no. A natural 20.
A natural 20. Hot diggity. I'm going to roll 2d20 and see what you encounter. Okay, a 6 and an 11.
Oh no.
This will be fun.
Oh no.
All right. So you see there are 2 tiny fairies. I mean, we're talking like 10 to 12 inches at their maximum height. They look like, Barbies or whatever. Very, very, they would put Barbie to shame. They are that pretty. Looking at them is just, they are almost pretty enough, beautiful enough to drive your mind insane. It's so hard to comprehend. So go ahead and roll me a wisdom saving throw against charm. I believe as a half elf, you have advantage.
Yes! That's 19, 20. And advantage I roll again, correct?
Correct.
Oh, it's still a mod 20.
Yeah. With that advantage, you are able to resist their charm, but they are still very beautiful looking creatures. And as you approach, you see that they seem to be circling some sort of weird object that is on the ground. Go ahead and roll me a D8 to see what this object is.
A 6.
A 6. You see that this object appears to be a messenger bag, I guess is the closest thing that I can think of. A messenger bag that they swear, you see them floating around, and there's appear to be talking to each other saying,
"No, you touch it. I don't want to. There's iron in there. I don't want to touch any iron. Nobody wants to get burned."
Oh, how about we have a trade?
A trade? Just get it out of here. We can't touch the iron.
Hold on. I understand you don't like iron, so please do not take offense to my friend here. He was born this way. I reach in there, and I pull out... I reach into a bag behind him, and I pull out one of the honey pods, and a loaf of bread, and a few fruits. How about all this, including some honey, for the bag?
Oh, yes! That's ours! Give it! You can have the bag!
Of course, and can I draw you? Can I please draw you?
Thank you! Go! Take the bag! Get it out of here! No iron is out in the court!
I have the bag.
Alright. They converge on the offering that you have left, absolutely tearing it apart with a fury or with a fervor that you would not expect from the little folk. And you are able to very quickly grab the bag and get out of there. You notice later that it is a full set of Smith's.
Oh boy, another set of these.
You can save them and sell them later.
Mm-hmm. Like, question though, would they be like a really good quality set of Smith's tools, or are they just kind of bad?
They would be a normal set.
Okay.
Yeah, they would be a normal
I'll just
set.
keep my set and sell these. So I'll throw them in the actual bag.
Yeah. So then you are able to continue walking, and you find another portal that appears to be... Let me roll here to see. Alright, this portal appears to be in a pool of water. As you approach, there is a circle of stones that surround this small pool about 3 foot in diameter. And when you look down upon it, you see the bright blue sky and clouds appear in this pool, but they don't match the clouds that are overhead. And depending on the angle, you could almost see a fountain or a strange water display of some variety, maybe a statue, you're not sure. as you look into this pool.
I'm going to investigate.
All right, go ahead and roll me an investigation or Arcana. I'll accept
Arcana? Okay. 17.
17. You're very, very certain that this is the portal. As you kind of inspect it, you cautiously put one finger to it, and the water doesn't feel watery. It doesn't feel wet. It just feels like it's there. You know, there's a slight resistance, and that's it.
So the water
it's
wet.
not. Yeah, you're 99% sure that this is a portal.
All right, I'm going to put my head through the portal.
All right, you poke your head through, and all sorts of magic envelops you, and you feel it pulling on you. Shoulders, legs, feet, everything seem to be pulling towards it, almost as if like a vacuum kind of effect.
I'm going to have Axel, through the connection, grab my ankles just to hang on to me.
Okay, he grabs onto your ankles, and as you look through, magic swirls around you, and you get an impression of a very large city around you. You kind of hear spectral voices around you, almost as if you're kind of in the other room, I guess. It's not 100% clear. You're pretty sure if you jump through that it will become clear.
So, in that case, I have Axel push me through and follow me in.
So, Axel grabs onto your legs and holds you there, and you're pretty sure that if you let go, you will be able to hear the voices more clearly and see everything.
I'm going to have Axel let go and follow me through the portal once I get through.
All right, you follow it through, and all of a sudden, you find yourself kind of not fetal position, but kind of hunched over on the ground in front of this very large fountain. And as you stand up and look around, you see the tall buildings and the large oceanscape of Port City around you.
Wasn't that hard? Oh,
not at all.
All right. Now that I'm here, I forgot to get on top of Port. I'm gonna see. Is there like anybody that's looking at me like I just look like an absolute abnormality to them?
Yeah, as you look around, you actually see a sign that says, "Caution, individuals may be arriving via portal. Be careful when you're standing near the fountain."
Excuse me? Anybody? Excuse me? Anyone?
You see a guard come up to you and says, "How can I help you? You arrived via a very unusual route, but not a completely uncommon one."
Yes, I was looking for the Tinkers Guild.
Oh, yes. Just go up the main road there, and you'll see it. It's right in the center of the town, all the guilds. Just look for the big moving gears and the whirling death machines.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and follow his instructions, and I'm going to walk down the main road. Axel tails me.
All right. You walk up the main road, and there are more people here than you think you've ever seen in any one place at any one time. I mean, this is a massive city. You've been walking now for a good 10, 12 minutes, and you are just now getting into the guild district. This is a massive place. The first two districts that you pass through are the Mages Guild and the Guild District, or the Merchants Guild area, and they are packed with people. You see carts of every variety and animals that you've only heard about in stories pulling these carts. You see people arriving by portal and by falling stars almost out of the air in the Mages Guild, as well as a huge collection of individuals that definitely are not mages, but appear to be going in and out of this large building that has a shimmering portal in it, kind of a crystal-like structure, and you eventually make your way through the Temple Guild, and there are holy symbols there of literally everything you can think. I mean, you imagine a religion or a cult, and there's a symbol for it there. And as you work your way around, you finally start smelling the metallic, coppery, irony scent of metal. You hear the whirl of gears. You hear the low rumble of motors. You smell the exhaust from engines running. And you get to the north part of the guild district and finally start to approach the Tinker's Guild. This massive 5-story building is very Gothic in style, but with steampunky looking gears around it. And you even see an airship on one of the docks, it looks like, close to the Tinkers Guild. I mean, this is a very stereotypical steampunk Gothic Victorian look building standing in.
All right, so I'm gonna go up the door. Hello?
Yeah, as you approach the doors, they appear to be made of glass, which is a luxury. Glass panes being, extremely rare. And as you step up to that door, you get the very uncomfortable feeling of a tile sinking below you. But just as you begin to look around for arrows flying about you, the 2 doors open in front of you. And in front of your view is a very large metal-looking desk with a gnome, you think, standing behind the counter on what has to be a step stool, because this counter is like 4.5 feet.
Hi, I'm looking for a Typical Tixwell. His associate business sent me.
Oh my goodness, you need Tixwell. Well, yes, he's in the very lowest levels. You need to take the stairs to the back, or you can take the elevator, or the escalator, or the dropper downer. Don't take the dropper downer. I don't think you have enough armor to survive that. But go ahead and take one of the other modes of traffic down to the very bottom level. That would be sub-level 5. And once you get down there, you go clear to the end of the hall. You'll see lots of warning signs about explosions and toxic gases. And clear down at the end of that hall, you'll find Tixwell.
Okay, how do I get my friend down there is the next big question.
Oh, he can get down there, not a problem. All these doors are built to the size of Goliaths. So they're about 8.5 feet tall and at least 5 foot wide.
All right. So I'm going to go to the stairs and make my way down to sub-level 5 here. Just trying to avoid drawing any attention to me.
All right. As you go down the stairs, you see that sub-level 1 appears to be mostly just a tunnel-type network, some sort of transportation-type deal. You get down to sub-level 2, and it appears to be strange constructions of devices that appear to be very sophisticated weapons, for lack of a better term. You've seen firearms in Fizzwhip shop before, but these seem to be a step above that. You get down to sub-level 3, and you start seeing the explosion warnings about, you're taking your life into your own hands upon entering sub-level 3. Once you get down to sub-level 4, you actually see that there is a handprint waiver. You actually have to put your name down in this logbook, saying that that the Tinkers Guild isn't responsible for your inevitable death for continuing to sub-level 4. And on sub-level 5, there isn't anybody. It's just a series of doors. The other levels, you saw the occasional person, but nobody dares go down into the 5th level. You look down, and there are 4 hallways, one in each cardinal direction. And you see that down the end of the main hallway there appears to be a very large, think meta terms like Fallout, the vault door, a giant cog-shaped door at the end of that hallway. And you hear all sorts of weird sounds coming from down.
All right, so Axel and I are going to make our way down the hall, and I'll get up to the door, and kind of... Mr. Tixwell?
As you are walking down that hallway, you get about halfway. Go ahead and roll me a dexterity saving throw.
14. Ooh.
A 14. This beam of light comes streaking across the hallway right out of one of the doors you were just about to step in front of, and it strikes the wall behind it, and a small glob of the metal wall melts in front of you. Go ahead and the initiative.
Oh no. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
And roll for Tixwell as well. I believe he gets his own initiative. Or not Tixwell.
Axel acts on my initiative right now. He doesn't have enough intelligence to act on his own.
Gotcha. Oh man, I rolled a natural 1, so I guarantee you're going first.
I rolled a natural 1.
What is your dex modifier?
A 1.
A 1. Let me see what this guy does. +2, he will go first. Okay, so... All right. So, this strange metal-looking creature, like you've seen Warforged before, and you've seen possibly other mechanical sentient races, but this is so sleek that you have no idea what could possibly create this. And this low clicking, rumbling noise comes out of it, and it fires another blast of this light at you. That is a 12 plus 2, 14 to hit. Let's see. Would you have Axel in front, or would you go in front?
Axel is able to use the aid where he can take damage. So,
okay.
Axel's AC is 16.
16. This bolt of light comes streaking toward you, and Axel just grabs a random piece of debris on the floor and throws it up in the way of this beam of light, and it strikes it, saving both of you from damage. We then move on to your turn.
Okay, seeing how my fighting abilities lack, like, extremely lack, like a 0 modifier, Axel is going to go ahead and pull out the great sword he carries. Does a natural 19 hit?
Yes, 19 does hit this strange creature.
This creature will take 9 slashing damage.
9? All right. You can see that you have cut loose some of the wires and whatnot on the side, and you hear that strange clicking noise, and it jumps back a little bit. Not enough to get out of your attack range, but definitely surprised. It seems to have a single light coming out of its face-type area, and it looks around, identifying both of you as targets, and it takes a shot at Axel. Unless, was there something else you wanted to do on your turn?
I really don't have anything else I can do on my bonus action because Axel took my action. All
right. He lets a shot out then at Axel, and that is a... plus modifier, so that is a 17, 1 point more than he needed to break the AC. So this bolt of radiant energy strikes Axel, dealing 6 points of radiant damage to him. And it is superheated, and you see that some of the superficial markings on the front of him have started to melt just a little bit, or soften, get bright red. And you hear that strange clicking noise again from it. Go ahead, Keith, it is your turn.
Ooh, ouch. Is there any way to shut the door?
You think with a successful shove, you could push it into the room that it was in, and then slam the door closed.
Alright, would it be possible for Axel and I, like, for me to use closing the door as a bonus action?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely allow that, since you're just commanding Axel to shove.
So Axel with a mod 19 is going to get back and push this thing backwards with as much force as he can.
Yeah, no, that 19 was more than enough. You shove him back into the room he was in, and you slam the door closed, and you see the light flashes as this strange weapon discharges against the door. And after it has become very clear that this creature cannot escape, you see it begin to like shake and pulse, and then all of a sudden it explodes in a great blast of energy.
Oh my.
As that happens, the very large vault door that you were heading towards opens, and a very spiky-haired gnome comes running out and says, "Oh my goodness, what happened? We thought we had him contained."
You don't have to worry about him anymore, I guess. Are you Tixwell?
Oh yes, I am Fizzle Tixwell, and that is really unfortunate. We just discovered these creatures. They appeared in a portal out of nowhere, a flash of energy and a big loud pop. They've been clicking and making all sorts of weird noises.
That's just a lot like what some of the agents back home said. By the way, your friend Fizzlip sent me. It's in regards to my friend here, Axel. He was thinking that you might understand a key to giving sentience to creatures like him.
Oh yes, I would be more than happy to help you. Are you a member of the Tinkers Guild?
Not part of this guild, but I associate with a lot of Tinkers back home.
Well, I can tell you right now that the cost of having me do this would be well above what you could probably afford.
Oh, well,
but for guild,
I'm not saying you do it. I want to do it. I wanna make him sentient. I just didn't know if you would happen to know.
Well, I would be more than happy to show you, but I would be more than happy to show you, but unfortunately, I'm unable to take apprentices outside the guild. You would need to join the guild before I am able to show you.
All right.
So you, having confirmed that you will join the Tinkers Guild, you run back up to the receptionist type person, whoever it is up there, and get the paperwork filled out and ready to go. You have secured lodging there at the Tinkers Guild and will join as soon as we get ready for the next episode. So go ahead, and any last words before we end?
First off, thanks for letting me join your guys' campaign. But my primary mission is to give Axel sentience, learn how to make things give it life.
Yeah.
So.
All right, sounds good. So thank you very, very much, Keith. It has been a pleasure to have you on.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Chaos Plan. We really hope that you enjoyed it, and since we are doing group games now, we are going to very quickly start getting episodes out there on a regular basis. If you want to take part, please visit Patreon, donate, and you can get in on this guaranteed. We already have the next batch of players getting ready to go for the next game, and we're already looking at the different DMs that are going to be taking part. Both Braden and Mike have committed to doing games so far. So if you want to get in on that action, please just join our Patreon. Thank you, and we hope to see you next game.